Most people over 60 wake up one morning and realize their legs feel heavier than they used to, almost like they are dragging concrete blocks instead of feet. But they dismiss it as just getting older, without realizing that this heaviness is actually the first quiet scream of sarcopenia, a condition where your muscles just shrink but actually turn into fat from the inside out, leaving you with legs that look normal on the outside but are structurally collapsing on the inside. Which is exactly why so many seniors fall in their own living rooms. Not because they tripped over a rug, but because their quad muscles literally forgot how to fire fast enough to catch them. The scary truth is that by the time you notice you are having trouble getting out of a low car or pushing up from a soft sofa, you have likely already lost 30% of your critical fast-twitch muscle fibers, the specific fibers responsible for preventing falls and maintaining your independence. And if you ignore this chair struggle sign for even 6 more months, the weakness can accelerate into a permanent disability where you rely on walkers or canes just to feel safe in your own home. Another massive warning sign that almost everyone ignores is the stairs hesitation, where you find yourself gripping the railing with white knuckles and pulling yourself up with your arms instead of pushing with your legs. Or worse, you start going downstairs sideways, one step at a time, because your brain subconsciously knows your knees and thighs don't have the stability to hold your weight anymore, which is a direct signal that your glutes and hamstrings have gone dormant and are starving for activation. You might also notice that your walking speed has slowed down without you trying, meaning everyone else seems to be walking faster than you at the grocery store or in the parking lot. And while you tell yourself you are just being careful, science tells us that walking speed is the #1 predictor of how many years you have left to live independently. So slowing down is not a safety measure. It is a biological alarm bell ringing loudly that your engine is losing horsepower. Perhaps the most dangerous sign of all is when you start feeling wobbly when you stand still with your eyes closed, like when you are washing your hair in the shower. Because this means the tiny stabilizer muscles around your ankles and the proprioceptors in your feet have disconnected from your brain, leaving you vulnerable to a catastrophic fall even when you are standing perfectly still. And this loss of balance is often the final domino to fall before a hip fracture changes your life forever. But the most hopeful part of this terrified reality is that your muscles are not dead. They are just dormant and waiting for the right signal. Because even at 80 years old, a human muscle fiber can wake up and grow stronger within just 7 days of the right stimulation. Meaning you can reverse these warning signs starting today if you stop treating your legs like delicate glass and start treating them like the rebuilding project they are desperate to become. Now that you understand the urgent warning signs, the good news is that you do not need a gym membership or heavy weights to fix this. Because the most powerful tool you have is already sitting in your living room, sturdy chair, and we are going to use it right now to wake up those dormant leg muscles with a simple 5-minute routine that signals your body to stop burning muscle and start building it again. Starting with the sit-to-stand movement, which is the single most important exercise for regaining your independence. To do this correctly, sit on the edge of your sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor and your arms crossed over your chest so you can not cheat by pushing off your knees. Then lean forward slightly and push through your heels to stand all the way up, squeezing your glutes at the top before slowly lowering yourself back down for a count of 3 seconds. Because that slow lowering phase is actually where 80% of the muscle rebuilding magic happens. Next, we move immediately into seated knee extensions to target the muscles right above your kneecaps that protect your joints from pain. So while sitting tall, slowly straighten one leg out in front of you until it is perfectly locked out. Flex your toes back toward your nose hard to engage the quad. Hold it for a solid 3 seconds until you feel a burn, and then switch legs. Repeating this 10 times on each side to create a protective armor of muscle around your knees that will make stairs feel easy again within weeks. From there, we tackle the ankles with seated calf raises. where you sit tall and simply lift your heels as high as possible onto your toes, squeezing the calf muscles at the top like you are stepping on a gas pedal. Then, lowering them down until your heels touch the floor, a tiny movement that pumps blood back up from your legs to your heart and strengthens the exact muscles that catch you when you trip, effectively fall-proofing your body from the ground up. Then we engage the often forgotten side hip muscles with seated clamshells or hip openers, where you keep your feet together and simply push your knees apart as wide as possible against the imaginary resistance of a band, or even using your own hands to push back against your knees, holding that open position to wake up the gluteus medius, the muscle responsible for keeping you steady when you walk on uneven ground or navigate a crowded room. Finally, we finish with the march in place, lifting one knee high toward your chest while sitting tall, then the other, marching rhythmically for 1 full minute to get your heart rate up and force your core muscles to stabilize your spine, proving to your body that it is still capable of vigorous movement and sending a flood of oxygen-rich blood to your brain, leaving you feeling energized, stable, and proud that you just took the first real step toward reversing age-related muscle loss forever.